Welcome to Studio 58A Live here at the Jamaica Information Service, our discussion program coming to you live on Facebook and Instagram. I am your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone joining us online wherever you are. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for your eyes. And like how we have your attention, do us a favor now. Share the video with a friend or 2 or 5,000 so we can have a very lively discussion. And as you watch, remember to send in your questions and your comments so we can put them to our guest. Now, growing the gaming sector is a significant part of the government's plans to achieve economic growth. The agency leading the charge to professionalize and modernize and upgrade the sector is the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. Here today to help us do a deep dive into how the gaming sector operates are two persons from the BGLC. We have Director of Licensing and Registration, Maurice Thompson, over there on the far right, and Jeanette Lewis, Corporate Affairs and Communications Manager. Right? Welcome to both of you. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
We really wanted to have you guys here because BGLC, as we mentioned before, the gaming sector is big business. This is a key part of the overall thrust to grow the economy, get things going, and there are lots of ways in which persons can participate through the gaming industry. So I wanted to talk about the different opportunities available and different ways in which you guys regulate the sector to make it, one, legal, naturally, and then allow the opportunities for persons to be able to participate as well. But before we get into all of that, let's just begin at the beginning. What exactly is the mandate of the BGLC?
So the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, which we'll call BGLC from now on, is the arm of the government that regulates Jamaica's gambling or gaming industry.
Right.
So we ensure that all operators who want to provide services to prospective gamblers are properly licensed. We ensure the growth and development of the sector.
Right.
And we ensure that it operates legitimately, and we protect the consumers, which is another important part of what we do. We protect the consumers from potentially unscrupulous or illegal activities.
Right.
And we also try to ensure that consumers are protected from the potential harms that gambling can present, which we call responsible gaming.
All right. So essentially, you guys are the watchdogs. You make sure that everything is going according to plan or according to how we would like to see the sector grow in a healthy way.
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how the sector is doing. Talk to me about the performance of the sector up to date and what kind of numbers we're doing, from that regard.
So I'll start with the revenues gone from the industry last year. $7.5 billion was contributed to government coffers last year from the BGLC or BGLC regulated activities. In terms of the sectors, we have one active lottery operator. We have one active racing promoter, Supreme Ventures Racing Entertainment Limited. We have 6 licensed bookmakers. Bookmakers are entities licensed to take bets on sports betting and on horse racing. We have gaming lounges. These are entities that can house up to 225 machines. And then we have the other category, the under-19s, small bars, carry poker machines that most Jamaicans are familiar with. We have the technical service providers. These are persons who are licensed to manufacture these poker boxes. And a new policy of the commission is that persons who are interested in terms of entering the industry can only purchase machines from these persons legitimately. If the machines are not purchased or purchased from persons who are not licensed technical service provider, the commission will not license these machines. And if these machines are found in operations, they'll be seized and taken to the court where we'll be seek forfeiture and machines to be destroyed. So one of the first ones for persons that if you plan to enter the gaming industry, in terms of the gaming machine side of the industry, our website has the list of licensed technical service providers. You must purchase from one of these persons. The other two that we don't need to give a license for, or we give approvals, are for prize competitions. Persons will see courts giving away a car, approved under Section 58. Right. We grant approval for those. And charitable bingos, schools, churches, youth clubs want
so even those two, things like you'd have your church or your neighborhood church or school or whatever running some kind of giveaway, you guys get involved with that?
We want to get involved. Ms. Lewis spoke to one of our key mandates, put it as third, but I actually have it as first. Protecting the consumer remains a key function of the commission. So anywhere out the Jamaican consumers want to participate in any kind of gaming activities, we ensure that their interests are protected.
Lovely.
So if you think about it, if somebody wants to charge you for the opportunity to take a chance to win something,
Right.
you need to be protected to make sure that the structure or the mechanism around that activity is properly established.
All right. Which brings me to the issue. You mentioned it here. We have it listed as industry integrity. I mean, as you know, gambling in and of itself, people would have certain negative connotations, but we're trying to move away from that because it's all about providing a healthy, regulated, and proper functioning system so that persons can, take advantage of it and reap the benefits and so on. So talk to me about how you guys are protecting the integrity of the gaming industry and making sure that when persons enter it, they can do so in a legal, legitimate way, and both the consumers and the operators, the employers, so on, are can both benefit. You know what I mean?
Right. So gambling is a topic that could be controversial because you've got lots of you've got different opinions about gambling, whether you should or you shouldn't.
Right.
But the fact is, gambling has been around from the beginning of time,
placing
and
bets
will
and
continue
taking bets,
to be around. So the role of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and gaming regulators around the world is to ensure that gambling happens in a manner that is structured, fair, free from crime and unscrupulous activities, and that those who choose to participate in gambling can do so with confidence that they will not be taken advantage of. And that's basically the role that we play. So we do that by issuing licensing and approving and reviewing the operations of gaming operators.
All right. So how do persons? First of all, persons might be interested. They would definitely want to know, how do they get licensed? You know what I mean? I have a place or establishment. I'm interested in putting up some boxes and that kind of thing. Or I might be interested in just basically getting my foot and seeing what kind of options are there for me to incorporate gaming as part of my operations. Where do I go? How do I start? What do I do? You know what I mean?
So I'm incorporate both previous questions, and previous question in terms of our protection mechanism for the public, and this question about a potential entrepreneur wanting an opportunity in the gaming industry. So all applicants seeking entrance to the gaming industry has to undergo what we call a fit and proper test, meaning you have to be criminally free of any criminal conviction. Your finances has to be, and that is a prerequisite before we can even consider your license. So if you're not fit and proper, so for me the first protection is that protection, ensuring that unscrupulous persons with bad character are not granted a license. So that's our first check.
All right.
Subsequent checks come with the equipment. So you want to import a slot machine in Jamaica, the commission has standard for those machines to ensure that the machine says what it does. It's going to give a 90% payout ratio. We have overseas labs that we partner with to ensure that the machines over time give a 90% payout.
Right.
So when they get the certifications from those independent laboratories, is provided to the commission before machines can be imported. So we not only look at the personnel and the persons who sell the bets in terms of the agents and so on, they also undergo background checks to ensure that these persons are fit and proper to conduct business. So our protection comes from those mechanisms, the personnel and the equipment that are used to facilitate the betting. In terms of entrance to the to the industry, as I said, you can't get around it. The first thing is fit and proper. If you feel the fit and proper, that's it. That's
just it. You know what I mean?
So having passed the fit and proper now, then it's up to the individual to decide which aspect of the market I want to enter. If you, for example, you want to operate machines in a bar, speaking to a licensed TSP, after you got your fit and proper, then you can purchase machine or machines. If it's a lottery agent, you want to sell on behalf of the active lottery company, you'll approach the lottery company, but they'll first ask if you're fit and proper. You'll provide the fit and proper document for them. If you want to sell horse racing on behalf of the sole promoter, you'll also approach the promoter, and they'll also ask if you're fit and proper. So that's the step. So we license individuals. We provide the fit and proper for all potential entrepreneurs, and they now seek out the opportunities. The fit and proper provides you with that basis to now go and seek opportunities in the industry.
It begs the question, why the big emphasis on being fit and proper? I think I have an idea. I mean, in this day and age, with words like money laundering and that kind of thing, we have to really be paying attention. So just stress for me the importance of the fit and proper assessment to make sure that we have the right kind of people, or people who are on the up and up entering the sector.
Well, we talked about the role of the BGLC in terms of ensuring it's free from crime and free from unscrupulous activity, and ensuring that we protect consumers. And so the basis of that has to be making sure that the people that we allow to offer this service to consumers are persons who have no criminal background, persons who have good reputation, because if we don't ensure that, then the consumers won't feel that they are actually adequately protected.
All right, exactly. So it makes sense to just make sure that you have the right kind of people,
Exactly.
I mean, it just makes a whole heap of sense.
Exactly.
And I guess we were talking about it before, and I really wanted to stress, because you mentioned this might be the segment that which with the biggest growth potential for gaming, which I suppose is persons who have establishments. You might have a restaurant, you might have some kind of community establishment, and you might want to be able to expand so you can make a little extra money through gaming machines and so on. So talk to us about persons in that segment. How is that segment doing? How receptive are you to persons in that segment coming in and saying, I feel like I want to put up 2 gaming boxes in my restaurant or in wherever, how receptive are you to that? How is that segment? How comfortable should people feel approaching you to be able to set up that kind of
that segment actually represents the biggest growth here in terms of licensed equipment. I think up to 2 years ago we had little under 4,000 machines licensed. At the end of not at the end of this fiscal year, but up to 10,000 local machines are already been licensed. So that's a growth era. And as you said, part of our whole socialization is that persons, if you open a bar, a restaurant, a club, machines go hand in hand with those.
Exactly.
And it's simple. You pass the fit and proper, you purchase your machine from a licensed TSP. It's just like it's as easy as that. It's easy.
One of the things you mentioned is that are the boxes made locally, or some of the back, because
we spoke to two categories of machines. Here you go to the Acropolis. Those are the gaming lounge. Those are sophisticated slot machines. We issue standards for those machines. The standards have to be met before the machines are imported. Primarily, all those machines in the lounges are imported. So having met the standards, then we'll allow the machines to be imported, and then we'll commission the machines at the particular lounges. However, there's the growth here I spoke about, the bars and so on. Those machines are manufactured locally by local companies who have been here a while, but over the last 2 years we have tried to bring some kind of standards to that sector of the industry. So we have licensed persons and rolling out minimum standards for how the machines should look. Hopefully within the next 3 to 5 years, our local machines will reach to a stage where they look like the international machines.
I mean, that's fascinating, because I never, I'm not saying that I'm underrating the people who are here. I didn't know that we had that kind of business going on, that people actually made gaming machines locally. I mean, I guess they're comparable to the ones that we import from foreign or whatever.
They are local machines that, if you look at the machines in terms of the aesthetics, I'd have to point out to you that they are actually local machines. And I know there are other Caribbean countries looking at the Jamaican licensing regime. So there's a possibility for our local TSPs to actually grow into these Caribbean countries who are without any kind of licensing regimes. But that social connection of bars and machines are still in place in those countries.
All right, so I mean, one of the things that we need to talk about also is licensing and making sure that your machines are, up to scratch. You can't just have them in there running indefinitely. Yeah, some of them look like they've been running from 1986. I mean, we're not so sure if those are legitimate or not. So talk to me about the licensing regime to make sure that these machines are properly regulated.
All right, so all gaming machine license expire on the March 31st of each year. And persons are instructed 45 days before to reapply to license their machines. We only have one Betting Game and Lotteries Commission office, and it's located at Hagley Park Road in Kingston. So what we have done over the last 4 years is to reach out to our customers, spread far and wide, and so call a remote licensing exercise. So between February 24th and March 25th this year, we'll be in various parishes. I'll just give the dates. February 24th and 25th will be in Mandeville, and the TAJ office in each in each area is where we are domiciled. Except for in St. Anne, where we'll be in March 2nd and 3rd, we'll be at Evansville Entertainment and Office Complex, 4 Gloucester Drive, which is just a stone throw away from the TAJ office. And May 9th and 10th, we'll be at Maypen and getting at the tax office. And March 23rd to 25th, we'll be in Montego Bay.
All right, so there you have it, people. I mean, the BGLC is coming to you. I mean, if you have your machines and you want to make sure that you're up to scratch here, you're operating under the proper regime, make sure, because as you said, the license expire on the end of March 31. So, I mean, just to make sure that you're in order, can people come in ahead of time, or do you just recommend that they wait until...
We have already started processing license for April for the 2021 period, so persons are encouraged to beat the rush, but most importantly, persons are encouraged to use the remote licensing facilities. You're in Montego Bay, you have 2 machines. We think that's a great service to you to license your machines. And it's a one-stop shop. You pay the tax office amount at the tax office, you pay the commission amount to the commission. At the same time, you don't have to come to Kingston. We implore persons to use the facilities.
All right. So
the fees.
I was about to ask you what kind of prices we're talking about here.
So the fees are you pay $5,000 at TAJ and $2,500 for each premises. Each premises also have to be licensed.
Okay.
I think I overlooked the fact that if the bar operator also the commission does a due diligence on the bar operator also. To ensure that he or she's also fit and proper. It's in keeping with our own AML,
right.
poker control. When that money is paid at the TAJ, you take that receipt to the BGLC and you pay another $5,000 to us for the machine, $1,000 for each premises. And there's a due diligence fee to be paid, but a due diligence fee is paid. It's before. Right. So you would not be doing a due diligence at the renewal because your due diligence would have been. We won't take an application from a person who has not completed the due diligence process. Okay. But the due diligence is $5,000.
All right. Let me ask you this though. I mean, if let's say, do I have to start a new application process? Meaning, let's say I already have, I'm just running to the end of my application, you know what I mean? And I want to, do I have to come and fill out a brand new application form, or is it like I just pay and they just renew the thing for the entire, you understand what I mean?
This year is the last year you'll have to do over the form.
Right.
Steps are taken now to ensure, will be taken next year to ensure that if nothing changes in terms of, if the number of machines,
right.
if you've licensed, if the premises hasn't changed, the bar owner hasn't changed, then we'll use that
like a rollover kind of vibe.
Yes.
All right. Which makes sense, because I mean, you want to make things a little more efficient, and people don't necessarily want to feel like we have to go through the whole process again. But still, if you do want to, if you're in the process of starting over, you want to get into the new cycle so that you can have your machines up and running, you can go onto the BGLC's website, right, Jeanette, and see if you can download the application form there, go through it, get the relevant documents and things that you'll need, so you can save yourself some time. You know what I mean? You don't have to. Can they submit it online and then go and pay, or is it more like a thing where you have to carry the application form and your money and just do everything one time?
You have to do it in person.
All right.
So we're not yet set up for online transactions.
Okay.
But you can download the forms, you can fill in the forms, download them, print them, and bring them in.
Just take your money. All right, let me just shift tack a little bit, because one of the things we opened up by talking about is the fact that the gaming industry, it's for some person, whether how you feel about gambling and that kind of thing, so many persons would just feel fine if the gaming industry would just disappear tomorrow. Not many persons would feel that way.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, let's get real. It's one of the bigger contributors to our economy and that kind of thing. So let's talk about the ways in which the gaming industry actually helps to impact Jamaica's economy in a positive way. Let's talk about some of those things.
Well, you have the direct revenues, and as we said earlier, that the gaming industry contributed 7.5 billion to the government coffers.
Billion with a B,
Billion with a capital B, yes. Contributed to the government coffers for the year 2018-2019, and that's growing each year. Right. There is a lot of direct employment. So when you think about all the people who work for the lottery operator, all the people who work in the horse racing industry, and then associated with that are the indirect employment. At Caymanas Park, which is the racetrack operated by the sole racing promoter, you have people who provide food and beverage services out there, people who provide uniforms for the jockeys, you've got the breeders who raise the horses, and then all the people who work on those farms. So all that indirect employment is generated by the industry. Then you think about the gaming lounges, you're talking about the Macaws, Acropolis, 100, places like that. Think of, again, food and beverage. So your agricultural sector can benefit because they have to provide the produce that generates. The beverage sector contributes, then the employment for the people who work there, the uniforms that they have to wear. Then let's think about it some more. You have we talked about the under 19s, and as Maurice alluded to, it's a very fast growing sector. In every community you go to, you find a little bar, a little restaurant, and many of these they may have one gaming machine, they may have 5, some of them may have up to 18 or 19. We actually call them the under 19s because they can have only a maximum of 19.
Which is a lot when you think of 19 is a whole heap of boxes for real.
Yes. But even the person who operates a little bar or a little restaurant in his community wants to add another revenue stream for his business. So it's also stimulating some kind of entrepreneurship, because you can probably start a little business with a one gaming machine, and grow that. But what we like to caution is, if you're going to have a business in the gaming industry, your business can't be successful if it is not properly registered and operating legitimately. Then you have the prize competitions. A lot of the marketing companies, they do their prize competitions, their promotions, and that stimulates business for them. You've got the charitable lotteries and bingos, little raffles, the schools. So,
there's a lot to be gained. There's a lot going on
from the gaming industry, whether we like it or not, we believe in it or not. But we all want to be sure that if it's happening, it's happening legitimately. Yes.
Right, I just want to add to Jeanette, the small bars, because we have done our own studies. The small bars, 2 to 3 bartenders on average are paid directly from the so in some places you have a cashier cage. She puts the credit on the machine. It's a shift system, so 2 persons are employed
just to do
that. As a bar, it open 10 o'clock in the morning and close 10 o'clock. One person
can't work overnight, but yeah.
They know, and so that's 2 to 3 persons are employed in that. And let's think about how many small bars and those persons. Some of those persons they are paid better from that activity than the bartending activity.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know what I'm saying? That sounds that sounds amazing.
Yes.
Let me just show some love. Quickly show some love to people online. Let's see here. Dave May 123 saying hello. Say hello, Dave.
Hey,
hello, Dave.
Thank you for tuning in. Leo Halarcon saying big up from Cuba.
Wow.
Appreciate that, Leo.
Far.
Thank you for tuning
International.
in. Really appreciate that. Saying God bless you, Jamaica. Appreciate that as well. Shake P said God bless Cuba. Well, God bless Cuba. Right. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any, you're far away in Cuba. Hopefully you can come to Jamaica one of these days. Maybe you sit in one of these community bars that we're talking about and use one of the machines that Jeanette and Maurice have been talking about. You know what I mean? Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. All right. Now, to get back to the issue of how people feel about gaming and how they feel about it, but I understand that the BGLC is also doing a lot of work to ensure that gaming is done responsibly, so that persons who might have, you might have your feelings about it, but the BGLC is aware of this and taking steps to ensure that persons who participate do so responsibly and make sure that, it's in an environment that fosters, that it's away from addiction and away from that kind of activity and behavior. Talk to me about that.
So responsible gaming goes hand in hand with offering any kind of services for gambling. And basically responsible gaming is about ensuring that the activity is undertaken or participated in such a way that the potential harm that could accrue from gambling is minimized or eliminated. Can be eliminated, but certainly minimized. And we're talking about, and when we talk about the harm, gambling is one of those activities that it's like a drug, and it stimulates that dopamine receptor in the brain, and it gives you that kind of
rush,
exactly. And so people can become very addicted to it. So we look at responsible gaming from the point of view of making sure that things are in place so that we try to help people not to become addicted, and then to also ensure that if you have people who have gambling issues, that there is a place for help.
Right.
So on the demand side, on the supply side, meaning how do we help somebody who is going to participate in gaming minimize the potential for developing some kind of problem with gaming.
Right.
And so we have the Responsible Gaming Code of Conduct, which the gaming operators are asked to ensure that certain basic minimums are in place to help to control that. So one of the things is managing, for instance, the passage of time. So can you imagine you sit at a machine and
it's easy for you just
it's easy to just sit there and
3 hours later, and
so you are and then also the situation in which you're gaming tends to be very dark, and you're in this enclosed room and you don't know whether it's daylight or so you have to have a clock so that they can see what the passage of time is. They have to ensure that minors cannot participate in gambling. They have to ensure that signs are in place to provide information on where you can get help, to what we call prohibition signs, which remind you that gambling is an activity for adults only, not for children. So we have the 18 and over sign. We have a service, and Jamaica is the only place in the Caribbean that has this. It's done in other parts of the world, but in Jamaica really shines above the rest of the Caribbean in terms of the responsible gaming program. There is a voluntary exclusion program. A voluntary exclusion program, tongue twister. A voluntary exclusion program is one where the gambler, can actually put himself in a database to prevent himself from having future access to a gaming lounge or another game.
It's
like saying, I want to
come in, get rid of me, run me, tell me to go home.
So we do it nicely. They do it nicely. But yes, basically you're putting a database which is shared among all the gaming lounges, so that people who don't want to be, they can't control themselves, they don't have the discipline. Help me just be particularly disciplined. If you see me coming, ease me away.
Ask me to leave, tell me to go home, so I don't waste my money and spend my whole life here.
And lounge workers are also trained to look for signs of
So the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, you may have heard of RISE Life Management Services, which years ago used to be called Addiction Alert.
Right, yeah.
And so, people think RISE only deals with drug addictions and so on, but actually no, RISE is actually the NGO that helps the BGLC to implement its responsible gaming program. And RISE does this through training. There's mandatory training required for the employees in the gaming lounges, like Maurice said, so they can pick up the signs and direct customers to the source for assistance. RISE goes through to the schools, because there is a gambling problem in schools.
Really?
RISE goes to the schools and they do training for guidance.
I find that schools shouldn't be gambling
in
the first place. So
see,
we have a problem in school.
Wide-ranging topic. But RISE will train teachers and they will train the guidance counselors in the schools.
So they can see the symptoms, if you will.
Right. So there are 2 tacks that they take. They take they have a preventative training plan, for a lesson plan for the teachers and the guidance counselors, so the teachers can actually go through a lesson with students to help them not get involved in gambling in the first place. And then they're also going to evolve that now this year into a treatment lesson plan. So because the guidance counselors who see instances of gambling in the schools can actually take the preliminary steps to help move those students into the right direction and away from the ill effects of gambling.
So as we talk about responsible gambling, you brought it up. So let's talk about it. I mean, underage gambling, underage gaming, that kind of thing. I mean, how big an issue is it really? I mean, is it something that that we're really seeing, that these youngsters going up, for example, to buy cash pot, or these youngsters going to different areas? I would like to believe that you're not going to see a youngster go into a gaming establishment and start pull one on the slot machine and sit there. I would like to believe
Let's
that.
put it in the social context in Jamaica.
Well, you're right. We would like to believe that this doesn't exist, but the evidence every day suggests that it's becoming more and more serious. And it's actually a very important strategic area for the Commission this year to fully address and implement a program that really speaks to the whole responsible gaming issue. We have seen and heard anecdotal stories of children going to buy lottery tickets. They're either buying it for the parents have sent them on an errand, or they're buying it themselves because they see it as a way to earn lunch money.
Exactly.
Now, this is actually illegal. And our lottery operator is very aware that it is actually not permitted.
A condition of license.
It's a condition of license that you should not permit a minor
to participate
in gambling. So you can't
by
sell
minor,
them.
we mean person below 18.
Below
Yes.
18.
Okay.
So you can't sell them a lottery ticket. Or as a parent, I can't send my child to buy a lottery ticket because the agent is not supposed to actually sell it.
Right.
It happens. And we certainly have encouraged, and there is a code of conduct that all the licensed gaming operators know that they have to abide by the code of conduct and the conditions of license in order to retain their license.
So I wanted to speak to the social context. Gambling, especially lottery, it's a very domestic affair. So there's a 2-3 lottery agent in our community. He or she is from that community.
Right.
He or she knows basically all the adults. So when a 10-year-old child comes and say, "My mom," and she'll call her. Yes. She'll sell, because she'll call the agent and say, "I'm going to send Junior to buy
the ticket
to clear." So just give them a ticket, I'll send the money. It's when you try to make a case to the parents, because these are they
just think it's no big deal.
What is the problem? It's nothing.
It seems innocent.
Yeah, it's innocent. I'm cooking. What do you want me to
I send him to go pick up paper. It's not a big deal. It's just a piece of paper, right?
However, he gets involved. He's introduced.
That gateway kind of effect.
It's a gateway.
Absolutely.
And the lottery agent now doesn't know when the tickets purchase is for the parent.
Right.
It's just like a cigarette, in the 70s and 80s, there was a message being sent. Parents used to sell kids to bars to buy cigarette and alcohol.
Right.
When the child now starts buying for himself,
you can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference.
No.
You can't. And other adults might see the child with the illegal, doing the illegal. What he said, but his mom always sends him to buy cash pot or a lottery. So it's no issue. So one of the Commission's duties to parents need to be, I don't know, it's ignorance, to remind it that yes, it might look innocent, but we can't be exposing our kids. And then around them, the social context around certain communities, gambling is seen as the ultimate way out. This is what
right.
This is what mom get to send me to school every day. How can it be such a bad thing?
It's a source of
at some level, that's kind of a legitimate question. I mean, if mommy and daddy doing it, really, is it really as bad as I think it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
That, so that's a social context with the BGLC has to operate, trying to break down all these long-standing dogmas, social stigmas, that it's nothing, just buying a number.
Buying a piece of paper
and we must never forget that cash pot is a derivative of Japan that has been around 100 years before cash pot was legitimized. So this is a part of our own culture, social fabric.
So, I mean, it's always good in a situation like it is good to hit them with the penalties, hit them with the numbers. What kind of penalties would people incur if they were to do
so
something like that?
you'd lose your license and you could be arrested and fined up to $500,000.
Right. So you hear that people, I wouldn't do it if I were you. I mean, if you
Absolutely.
value your establishment.
And this is one of the breaches that the commission in terms of would take a zero tolerance approach to any licensee found guilty of operating. There would be no room for argument in terms of what to happen next. You definitely lose your license.
So basically, that's just it. It's like one strike. That's it. One strike, you're out kind of situation.
As Jeanette said, this is a very important strategic objective for us in terms of protecting minors or next generation from the potential effects of gambling.
All right, so I mean, you mentioned you do outreach in the schools to let children know that this kind of thing is unacceptable and they really shouldn't be. If mommy and daddy or whoever ask you to go and buy a ticket, you should be like, no, this is wrong, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
3 Fridays
Well,
ago?
we actually have a plan to do more in the schools. Right now, Rise Life Management does have a team that goes out to the schools and they do presentations to the students about staying away from gambling. In fact, each year they have a competition for students, which helps to reinforce the message. It used to be a poster competition. Last year they did a jingle competition. And basically the theme is always, stay away from gambling if you want to succeed in life.
Yeah, right.
And this year will be the jingle competition will be repeated again.
Right.
They're expanding the number of schools that they will actually go out to. But each year, BGLC actually provides funding for these activities, and it is our intention actually to actually ramp it up.
All right, lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we just want the children to be children. Focus
Absolutely.
on being children, do the
That's
things that
what-
children do,
yes.
and when the time comes, you can think about that at a later date.
Yes.
You know what I
Absolutely.
You
mean?
make that informed choice when you
Right, when you
you
get
have the
older
capacity,
and you're
yes,
right,
to
you're
do so.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to switch tack again to something I'm sure a lot of people will be really excited, especially the youngsters, the BGLC's Education Fund. I know that many persons, everybody wants help to get their tertiary education funded. I mean, who wouldn't want it? I know that you guys make funds available for persons who want to, to get that kind of scholarship. So talk to me about that. How do they apply? What do they do? What do they get? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So this is one of the programs that we're really very enthusiastic and very about and very pleased with the outcomes from it. And that's the BGLC Education Fund provides funding or tertiary assistance provides assistance for tertiary students to help them with their tuition fees. And every year we issue a call for applications that comes out at the start of May. And we invite tertiary students to submit their applications to receive $50,000 from the BGLC towards their tuition fees. We have grown the number of students who get this assistance every year, and this year we're hoping to do at least 250 students from across the island. The application process is really easy. Come the 1st of May, we'll open the application portal on our website. You can download the application, fill it in, and submit it to the BGLC along with evidence of your academic progress, whether it is your certificates if you're coming from high school into university, into a tertiary institution, your CXC or CAPE grades.
Right.
If you're continuing from second year to third year or so on, show us your transcript. So there's evidence that you are actually in and staying in school. That is submitted with an essay. We usually like to challenge the students a little bit and make sure that they're thinking about this. So we usually have an essay topic. So you have to write an essay about something to do with the gaming industry, and we usually reveal what that topic is on the application, and we change it each year. Your GPA has to be at least 2.75, and you have to be no older than 26 of the academic year that you're applying for. And everybody can apply twice as a maximum.
So once you benefit, you can only benefit one other time.
You can only
and that's
benefit
it.
twice, right?
Okay.
And we have many students who have repeated and gotten help 2 years in a row. So applications will open on the 1st of May. Applications will close on the 17th of July, and by the middle of August, we will be able to advise the applicants the results of their application, and then we make the payment for the tuition. We work with the tertiary institutions, and we make the payment for the the education grant directly to the school.
Yeah, exactly. So another way in which the BGLC is helping persons. I mean, so once again, regardless of how you feel, they're out there doing the work and making an effort in making a real positive impact in society. You know what I mean? So you might want to reevaluate your situation.
Well,
how
you know,
feel.
you
I mean,
asked
some
earlier-
persons might feel differently, but hey, you know what I mean? You can't deny that you're doing the work. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And like we said earlier, gambling is going to happen with or without a regulator. So we make sure that the gambling happens in a way that is legal and legitimate. And we also, through the Education Fund and other community support activities that we do, make sure that some of the proceeds of gambling actually go towards good in our communities.
I think we've covered a lot of the major topics we wanted to talk to in this short amount of time that we have, but I'm going to just leave the last word to both of you. If there's anything that you want to stress or make persons aware of as they see you guys out there working to make sure that the gaming and gambling industry is on the up and just growing and that kind of thing. What's the message that you want persons to take away from this interview here?
Well, this is a time of year when we are encouraging prospects and existing gaming operators to ensure that their licenses are renewed by the 31st of March, which is the deadline. And as Maurice mentioned earlier, the BGLC teams are going out as of the 24th of February. We'll be in Mandeville, Maypen, St. Anne's Bay, Savlamar and Montego Bay, and full details of where we'll be and when are available on our website, which is www.bglc.gov.jm, on our social media pages, and you can also call the commission to get information. I need to point out something here because we get this often.
Right.
When I say call the commission, many people believe that BGLC and the lottery operator Supreme Ventures are the same.
Right.
We are quite different.
Right.
So we are the regulator and they are the sole active lottery promoter.
Right.
So BGLC is government. We are an arm of the an agency
The regulator.
We're the regulator and an agency of the Ministry of Finance, and Supreme Ventures is a private company.
Right.
So that's one of the messages that we want to ensure
don't
people
confuse
understand.
the two.
So don't
BGLC
confuse.
and
So
Supreme
call-
Ventures, two different things. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
So call Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission for more information on any of the things that we've talked about today.
All right, Maurice, over to you.
For me, I'm director of licensing. I can't but emphasize persons are in for renewal. You can come in tomorrow. You can come in today, sorry. We have started renewal license. Licenses are actually ready for the 2020-21 period already for some persons who have made an early application. And persons who think they want to register late, remember your machine becomes an illegal machine come April 1, 2020, and there's a penalty in terms of payment. You could have your machine seized and you lose the fit and proper status, meaning you can't ever operate in the industry again. And also
Okay. Really? Is that serious?
It's very strict.
It's very strict. You have breached the BGLA, which is the law that governs the industry. You're in trouble. Because the law actually speaks to our legislation actually speaks to you breaching the BGLA as one of the criteria that you're not fit and proper.
Oh wow!
So if you do illegal gambling, illegal betting, take illegal bets, have illegal machines, it will be impossible for you to fast if fit and proper. So I'd hate the persons lose their business because of an oversight. So you come in before April 1, get your machines licensed. There's a penalty up to 60% additional fees if the machines are not licensed on time.
Wow. Okay. That's serious. I mean, after all that investment and so on to set up your business and so on, and just lose it like that. Because, I mean, would it be a situation where it says all machines become unlicensed on April 1? Because,
all machines.
So, so it's not like a situation where you could have like one machine that's good and the other machine
Every
last one and
every single machine is March 31st, 2020 that's the date when the license expire. All machines in Jamaica.
All right, so
And I didn't say this. I want to say all licensed machine has a little license disc on it. Like a disc on your car.
And so on.
Yes, and it tells you the fiscal year that the machine. So for this year, you look for 2021. Okay?
So if I were you, I would just make sure I sit down and check all my machines. And, well, it wouldn't even make a sense. Just make sure you start doing the paperwork from now so that you don't fall into the not fit and proper category and lose your license. And before you know it, all that investment just goes up in smoke. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
absolutely. Protect your investment, protect your business.
And we know that persons sometimes are reluctant to come to Kingston. And between February 23rd and March 25th, we'll be in the field. Check the Commission's website for the exact dates and time. We are coming to you, and we have been coming to you for the last 4 years, and we're coming again this year.
Right, fantastic. I mean, there you have it. I mean, BGLC is out there making the effort to reach you where you are, so you don't have to come into town. You know, I mean, they're gonna do the outreach, and like as some of the things Jeanette was pointing out, that regardless of how you feel about the gaming industry, they're out there doing the work, and they're making a big difference. They're providing tuition support to tertiary school students. They have the responsible gaming activities which ensure that persons can get support. They have persons in the gaming establishments making sure that persons who look like they might be enjoying themselves a little bit too much can get the kind of help that they need. I mean, they can even go as far as to make sure if you feel like, you know what, this gambling thing is too much, I can put myself on a list to make sure that they refuse me entry. Refuse yourself entry from these establishments, you know what I mean? And they're out there working with the operators and the employees to make sure that they're up to date. They have all their ducks in a row, so to speak. Make sure that the licenses are, good to go, because it would be a real shame to lose your license because you forgot to renew. You just simply forgot to renew your license. So be proactive, do the work, get in touch with them. Make sure just contact them every so often. Just make sure that you're aware of all the different developments that are happening in the sector, so that you can stay on the up and up. You don't lose your license, and you're able to do, run your establishment as you would like. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to do. That's the best way to say it, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I think that is a good note for us to wrap on. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned into our discussion. Thank you very much, especially those of you who had your questions and the comments. Those persons coming from as far as Cuba, thank you for watching. Really appreciate that. And if you have a question, not to worry, you can send it in. We'll be going through afterwards and be able to send them to either Jeanette or Maurice so that they can give you the right information. You know what I mean? You never know. There might be something that after watching this, you might have some questions, something you want to find out about. We can send it to us. We can send it to them. Or you can just check their website, bglc.gov.jm. You can get their contact details, talk to them so that you can get information that you need, right? Remember, our audience plays a major part in our show. So if there's anyone you'd like us to have in studio, let us know. And we'll try to have that person in studio as soon as possible. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaica Information Service to see who will be in studio next. We do this every week, live on Facebook and Instagram. I've been your host, Vaughn Davis, and this has been Studio 58A Live. Thank you very much for joining us, and please have a wonderful day.